Welcome to the April meeting of the Coalition to Modify NOTA. Our agenda today, we're going to share our progress. We're going to have some news about our new pathway. We're going to go into breakout rooms, and at the end, we'll follow with an open discussion. The End Kidney Deaths Act, as we all know, is a 10-year pilot in which all Americans who give kidneys to strangers, those people at the top of the wait list, will be provided a $50,000 refundable tax credit allocated over 5 years. So that's $10,000 a year for 5 years. And we have to remember the refundable tax credit means that all will be eligible for the funds. Now, I love this picture. It's spring. And when I see it, I kind of see our movement in that these tulips are deeply rooted, strongly rooted, and we are the stems, and the flowers are the people that we are going to save through our advocacy. So phase one, I called it Secret Congress. That was an article that came out not too long ago that stated that it's a wise move to not get a lot of media attention, but rather to work your way through congressional meetings without a lot of attention, so that it doesn't become a polarizing issue, and that you can have a lot of success that way. And we have had over 100 meetings that were very positive for the most part, and we are having a degree of success. However, I believe it is time for us to switch gears and for all our hands to be on deck. That means everyone needs to be activated to help us get this law to the finish line this year. We have the potential to do this. It's an election year. That means that fewer bills are passed. However, what better way to show your voters that you care about them than by passing the End Kidney Deaths Act, a law that will both save tens of thousands of lives and billions of dollars. So we need to remember in our advocacy that in studies, it is demonstrated that the majority of Americans support compensating living kidney donors. Not everyone, but we only need to persuade 51% of Congress to vote for our law. We have right now about 12,000 Americans who die from the wait list every year. Those who die directly from the wait list, that number is closer to 13 a day, but there are thousands of people who are removed every year because they become too sick to be transplanted. And when you become too sick to be transplanted, that means that you're going to die from kidney failure. And so I calculate that as 12, I don't calculate it, it's actually numbers that are coming from the government. 1,000 Americans die every month due to the kidney shortage, and it's so hard to visualize these numbers, so I put on the slide 1,000 points for us to get a sense for what 1,000 deaths mean every month. Now, with the End Kidney Deaths Act, we will be providing an additional 500 living kidney transplants every month. And so that would mean that half of those people could be saved with a living kidney transplant. Now, our estimate is that we will have 60,000 transplants by year 10. That will not happen unless we pass this life-saving law. So out of the 48 Senate meetings we've had so far, 47 of them were positive Senate meetings. Only one Senate office opposed. We also had 3 positive meetings with Senate Finance Committee staffers. And so on the Senate side, we've met with nearly half the members, and it seems like they're mostly in favor of what we're trying to accomplish, which is excellent news. In the House, we've had 52 meetings, and only one was a meeting in which the person stated that they were not going to support this bill. So we had 51 House offices who indicated that they would support the passage of the End Kidney Deaths Act. Now, our bill only needs to be introduced in one congressional chamber. So for this month, we are focusing now solely on persuading the House membership to support our bill, because I believe that the Senate is an easier place because we had so many meetings and they were also very positive. The House is a place, I think, where there's a little bit more, there are just far more members, and so it's a place where I believe that if we can get solid support there, that we have a really good chance of getting this bill passed this year. So the goal for the month of April is getting the End Kidney Deaths Act introduced. As I stated in earlier meetings, we have a Republican lead on the Ways and Means Committee. Now, our job, the key, is that we must secure a House Democrat on the Ways and Means Committee to introduce our bill. And for that, I'm going to need everyone's help. We are all pressed for time, so here is the top priority. Our first priority, this top priority, is for all of us to email all 18 of the House Ways and Means Committee Democrats. How? So now I'm going to switch to show you the document I created. Hold on, see if I can get there. Okay, so I created this document with all 18 members on it.
And within this are all the emails that you need to send. Hopefully this will be a piece of cake for you. So let's imagine you want to email Terry Sewell from Alabama. You go here, it's all on the list. And here every email is, the subject line is going to be End Kidney Deaths Act. The emails are here. Those are the emails you'll send. I'm asking you to either CC or BCC me on every email so that way I can keep track and also respond. Here is the email. Within the email itself, part of it is just general to all of the members, and part of it is specific to the state. So this would have specific Alabama information on it. And in this case, we met with Representative Sewell, so it's thanking her office for meeting with us. We didn't meet with her personally, we met with her office, but it's thanking her and with your signature. Here's Representative Chu from California. Again, with the California statistics rather than the Alabama ones, but it is, I believe, a strong letter and a way for us to demonstrate our advocacy. So let's imagine that I want to write to Representative Gomez. I would here copy the End Kidney Deaths Act, go to my email, put it here, and then go back. Here are the emails all set for me, copy and paste, throw them up here. And then I'm going to CC me because I want to make sure that I'm kept posted about everything. And I'm not going to actually do that right now because I can't see it because of the pictures here. And then copy in the body of the email this, and then I sign.
Elaine, excuse me. How do we pick all this up?
So I'm going to be sharing this document with everyone.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to share this document, and then with this document, you'll be able to access everybody's emails, and that should only take about 5 or 10 minutes. Any other questions?
Plus, you personalize the letters so that each one has a personal message.
Yes.
To that state.
Yes, absolutely. Rich, I hope you're feeling okay. But yes, absolutely. I want everyone to feel free to personalize these letters. So, for example, in the emails, I wrote, "I'm an advocate for living kidney donation." But in the case of someone who is a kidney recipient, or someone who is a donor, or someone who would like to provide more text, feel free. And I'm happy to support you. So if anything comes up that's a challenge, we can get on a call, or we can email back and forth until it's clear. But it's very important that these representatives hear from us.
Elaine, if we do hear back from them or get a response, do you want us to forward that to you so that you have it on file?
Yes, please. Yeah, I do need to be kept posted at every stage. And thank you, Bobby. Absolutely. So in addition to writing to those 18 members, what else can you do? Now, these are sort of options for the month, but of course, they're incredibly helpful. If you would schedule an in-person or virtual meeting with your own local House representative. If you live close to their office, stop by. And I find that face-to-face meetings are much more effective than virtual meetings or emails. If it feels if it feels right, please ask your social circle and family to take action to help write to committee members or other House members. We can advocate by doing our best to write op-eds, post on social media, speak to community groups, go on podcasts, wear sandwich boards, hand out flyers. Basically, we're going free range. I want everyone to feel that they are a leader of this movement and to advocate in any way that they feel is best for them, and I'm happy to support you. If you want me to send you flyers, I'm happy to do that. Just contact me. I wear sandwich boards around New York City. That's not for everyone, I understand. Certainly, if you have media connections, now is the time to take people up on their offers or to write to media outlets that you trust and think would do a good job of covering our movement. Any questions about this one?
Elaine,
Yes.
you know about my timeline and Ned. Do we know a timeline where we're thinking this might, be voted on or get passed this year?
So our timeline is we have until December 31st to get this done, right? And then we begin an entirely new congressional session. And so our plan is to get it done. We do not yet have it introduced in the House. Once it's introduced in the House, it needs to be voted on within the committee and then brought to the general floor or wrapped into a larger tax bill. So I don't know what the pathway will be, but I'm a very impatient person and I want this bill introduced as quickly as possible. And that means we need to get a Democrat on that Ways and Means Committee on our side. And I think that our advocacy as a team will help to bring that to fruition.
I was just going to say, if it comes to where this is going on in the summer, when I'm going coast to coast, I have 30 TV interviews coming up. I'll be on Good Morning America for these children. And I told my sponsors, we can put, we're going to be putting their logos on the car. We can put something about this on the car if we need to. And I can be speaking about it in every sitting I'm in.
Beautiful, Brian. That's music to my ears. We need everyone to activate and advocate, because as we are waiting, people, as we delay the implementation of the End Kidney Deaths Act, people are dying unnecessarily from preventable deaths, right? And that's a nightmare for us. So as quickly as possible and as much as possible. And this slide says it. Each month of delay for the enactment of the End Kidney Death Act will lead to 500 American lives lost due to the absence of incentivized strangers' kidneys. So that's my perspective. Every month that this bill does not get to the finish line, we are losing potentially 500 American lives, and that's far too many. We need to socialize this bill and get people used to the idea. We need to give them opportunities to ask questions because the bill it's a new idea. Actually, the idea's been around for decades, but in terms of us trying to pass a law as a movement, that is new. We are ambassadors for this idea within our communities. Our entire society will improve when we demonstrate the caring needed for those 60,000 Americans who will otherwise not survive without the End Kidney Death Act in the next 10 years. And here is a stadium of 60,000 people, just to give a sense for the number of people who are waiting for us to get activated and energized to pass the End Kidney Death Act. We're really aiming to persuade everyone in the House to support our bill. And so, of course, our first priority are the 18 people on the Ways and Means Committee, the Democrats on that committee, but we are open to support from any House member. So again, you please contact your own member, or if you have connections with other members or feel like being in touch with them, feel free to send them emails as well. And as I said earlier, those letters can be and should be personalized. Please keep me posted on all the advocacy you are conducting. Please contact me on emails. That would be a BCC or CC. We decided a BCC is better. So I switched that document so it's reflecting the BCC. I'm always happy to provide you with resources and guidance or attend any meetings if you would like me to. So use me as a resource. If I'm out of the loop with your advocacy, we may not be as effective at coordinating well enough to get this bill to the finish line. So I know I'm repeating myself, but please keep me posted at every phase. Now, we're going to talk a bit about a big argument that's being presented in opposition to the End Kidney Death Act, and that is this exploitative? So I have several slides on this. We understand this concern about donor safety, but this stems from a time when kidney donation was much more dangerous. The current risk is 1.8 out of 10,000 deaths. Appendectomies have a 1.7% death rate, so far higher than nephrectomy. Provided we continue to maintain the current excellent safeguards, donation is not medically risky, and in fact, living kidney donors live longer than the general population because in order to qualify, you need to be in top health. Very important for us to know this. Also, and I've said it before, and it's still true, low-income donors need kidneys disproportionately at 3 times the rate of high-income people. And the current world is, you could call it exploitative, because donors are giving kidneys and are not provided any kind of reward or compensation for what I can testify is a difficult process. It's time-consuming, it's painful, it's stressful. It is.
Elaine, will you just let me repeat my mantra, because this is something that is very under the current system, Ron. Every person in the chain of living organ donation except one profits. The hospital gets paid, the doctors and nurses get paid, pharma gets paid, the recipient is the main beneficiary. When you've been thinking about this for a while, it can get pretty bizarre. In what other human endeavor does a commodity pass through a chain of transactions and everyone in that chain benefits except for the supplier of the commodity? Is there any clear example of exploitation than the current system? That's my response.
Thank you, Ned. Perfect. As was said earlier, there's a New York Times article printed today which mentioned the Coalition to Modify NOTA and also quoted our co-founder, Ned Brooks, in the article. We're really excited that we got such amazing coverage. Now, in the comment section, it is clear that many people never read the article. With the New York Times articles, they're normally behind a paywall, but you can comment even if you are not a subscriber. And reading those comments, it's pretty clear that people did not read the article. But I just want to share this one very positive comment because there were tons of them on there, and this one was very encouraging. I gave my kidney last year. I gave away my kidney last year. My recipient is doing well, as am I. My health will continue to be well as I take good care of myself. I did not need 2 kidneys. I would have loved being compensated. After all, the doctors, the nurse, everyone was paid except for myself. This is a beautiful plan, an incentive to get healthy folks to share what they have. If I had more kidneys, I would gladly do it again. And when you look at the list of comments, you see the non-directed donors and the directed donors are all over the place saying this is an amazing proposal. And we also have people who are languishing on dialysis who are also pleading with us to get this done. I just feel like we need to socialize this bill. We need to educate people because there is a gut reaction that a lot of people have that's in opposition. But when they learn more, in my experience, they understand the great need for this law.
Elaine, can I say something?
Yes, please.
As you know, and we've discussed this, I don't think you're addressing the real concerns of the people who are worried about exploitation. I don't think you're addressing them at all. You keep everything you're saying is saying there's a need and people wish they could get paid. What's bothering these people is that in their minds, poor people and Black and brown people are at risk of being exploited. I think that our material and our talk should preempt that by pointing out that there are other medical situations in which the donors are being paid. And the best example, I think, is surrogacy. or egg donation, and those are both much more dangerous procedures, and nobody is complaining about exploitation in that regard. The same, by the way, could be said for military payment, military service. Thank you.
So, Bob, in the next couple slides, we will be talking about the potential fears that people have for exploitation of the poor. But you're absolutely right in that egg donation is very risky, connected with cancer and from all of the injections that the women get. And surrogacy, as we know, childbirth is more dangerous than a nephrectomy. So, thank you for pointing that out, and we'll work together to make this the best possible pitch that we can.
Thank you.
So as a team, we created this document, primarily Cody Maynard did, addressing ethical concerns. Are you concerned that individuals may be exploited through this initiative? Answer, that's a valid concern. Now, we always want, when people have concerns, to validate them, because they're coming from a place of fear for the outcome. And I think that we always need to say that is a valid concern or something to that effect. We want to be clear that our priority is donor safety. As donors ourselves, we know the ethical, medical, and psychological implications of being a donor. Fortunately, the current state and future state system will largely mitigate these concerns. Let's walk through some potentially exploitative examples and how our proposal mitigates these concerns. Individuals may use this as a cash for drug scheme or cash for criminality scheme. This proposal will disproportionately help those suffering communities. Currently, drug users are vetted out of the donation process through the medical and psychological evaluation criteria. Many transplant centers also do a background check. Individuals could be trying to alleviate some dire financial circumstance, like settling a gambling debt or supporting criminal activity, through a big cash windfall. The evaluation, testing, approval, matching, donation, and recovery process can take 6 to 12 months. The following year, the donor would be compensated through the IRS post-donation, thus mitigating the worry of an immediate financial incentive. Additionally, the refundable tax credit would be spread over 5 years to further mitigate those risks. So in other words, if somebody was donating and being given a full check the following day, we can imagine that we would be compelling people who have an immediate need for cash. This is slow. It usually takes around 6 months to get worked up or more, and it would only be the following year that they would access the first 10,000. Low-income Americans would be harmed. In reality, low-income and rural Americans are the most vulnerable groups who are currently suffering from renal failure at triple the rates of high-income earners. So this is disproportionately helping those who don't have healthy living donors surrounding them. Now, I know we've seen this slide before, but I think it's valuable to remind ourselves that those with low levels of education and income are much more likely to be on dialysis than those who are highly educated. This is a document that I'm going to share with everyone, and this is a good document to share with colleagues and friends if they are wondering about why this is really an essential law. There's an article that I wrote with Thomas Kelly this month that demonstrates that kidney donation has become 40% safer since our last report, which was in 2009. We were told that there were 3 in 10,000 deaths. Based on UNO's numbers, it's moved from it's declined 40%. It's now 1.8 deaths per 10,000, though that is probably an overstatement because that's not exactly, it's not clear if those deaths were caused by the nephrectomies or if they were caused by other reasons. But it's just important for us to know that donation has become at least 40% safer since the laparoscopic technique has been maybe not perfected, maybe that's an exaggeration, has greatly improved, and we fortunately have far fewer donors dying as a result.
Elaine, I would just also add to that for the informed consumer, that rate is much higher than it actually is. For example, at the larger centers that do a lot of transplants, I donated at Cornell. They've been transplanting people since 1980s. They've never lost a donor on the table. I think that's true of a number of the larger, more active transplant centers. So I think that 1.8 per 10,000 is overstated for the most part.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it's true. And if you can look, there have been many years with no deaths whatsoever. If you check out the study. Thank you, Ned. The last thing is one thing that I'm going to get busy doing, and if somebody wants to help me with this, that would be great. During the next month, I'm going to be contacting hospitals and transplant centers in the regions where these Democratic House Ways and Means Committee people are governing, and try to get doctors and other healthcare professionals at these hospitals to contact them to get them to lead on our bill. So that's the plan. And our next meeting is Tuesday, May 7th from 5 to 6. And I will be sending out that information.